Yeah, let's go.
Well, my little ass? Dude, why are you coming at me like talking shit?
Look at that, friends. The first perch of the season from the ice.
Give me that.
On July 19th, 2025, Erica from the YouTube channel Erica Lynn set out onto Tampa Bay for what was supposed to be a simple inshore outing, catching trout, picking up a few ingredients, and filming another easy, quiet catch and cook. Her content usually follows smooth, uncomplicated fishing routines, but on this trip, a single moment shifted the entire direction of her day. Early on, she managed to land a solid trout, finally keeping one after several smaller fish were released. It seemed like the day was settling into a familiar pattern, steady, predictable, and focused on gathering enough trout for the recipe she had planned. But the more normal things feel, the easier it is to overlook the instant when that normalcy changes.
There you go. Looking for a 15, looking for 15. Hopefully you're 15, bro, or else you're gonna get eaten by a bird. Oh, it is close. I got a treble in my finger. Alright, and you're keeper anyways, so you're gonna have to just die like that. I'm sorry, bud. Yeah. I'm keeping him anyways. I got my third trout. This is where it'd be really nice to have another person on the boat. Well, this literally happened to me. So I was kayak fishing one time by myself, of course, and I catch a ladyfish on like a treble hook like this too. And again, like the fish is still hooked up to one set of trebles and the other set of trebles ends up going in my finger. And I end up like having to paddle back. I almost passed out in the kayak, to be honest. I'm okay right now. But I got home and I had to like pull the whole thing out and it was not fun. Luckily I got the fish off at the time. Well, that's a first. Not that I haven't got a lure in my finger, but I've been able to get it out myself before. But unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go to the emergency room. Glad you guys were with me to see all that. All right, update, I'm alive. I still have a hook in my finger, but I didn't pass out so far, so that's good. I'm headed back. I'm like debating on just trying to like work this out myself. A little tricky with one hand, or go to the ER.
While working on the next trout, that change came abruptly. As she reached to remove the lure, it recoiled unexpectedly and drove the treble hook deep into her finger. The calm rhythm of the morning shattered instantly, leaving no room for anything but action. There was no simple fix on the water, no way to keep fishing, only the sudden understanding that the trip had taken a sharp turn.
Primary care, urgent care. Hello.
Can I help you?
I have a hook in my finger.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. I will help you start. Have you been here before?
I have not, no.
Okay.
But I have a free hand, so
Okay, all right.
I can try to write. I survived. I got my finger, I'm not trying to flick you guys off. I got my finger wrapped up. I gotta head back to the boat, but we are in one piece, and I got to keep my lure, so I'll be putting some new treble hooks on that for sure. All right, and we're back. So I'm gonna go over some key features that I absolutely love about this fillet table. There's a hose hookup in the very back, so the hose attachments on the side, the waters run through the whole table itself. So it's gonna be really easy access to get the hose to help us clean up these fish and clean up the table. I also have a mini cabinet below, so planning to put, you know, like Ziploc bag, the fillet knives in here. It's a good place just to have everything stored away when we're not using it. Easy access. And close that up. Perfect. Now this is a 6-foot table. They have a lot of different options, but here in Florida, we sometimes do get our bigger species like cobia or grouper. So it's great size to have big fish, one, and also potentially 2 people filleting fish at the same time. So huge shout out to Seaward. We're gonna be doing a lot more catch, cook, and cleans coming up to show you guys a little bit more of me using the table, but very excited to get these fish cleaned up, and trout tacos are on the menu.
At Tampa General Hospital, medical staff removed the hook and wrapped her finger before she returned to complete the catch and cook. The rest of the day unfolded quietly, her original plan still intact, but overshadowed by a moment that had become far more painful than she ever anticipated. Viewers pointed out how quickly treble hook injuries can happen, especially during tasks that feel automatic. Many shared their own ER stories, noting that accidents like this often come from routine motions rather than dramatic mistakes. If something as simple as unhooking a trout can turn into an emergency so quickly, it raises the question: how many ordinary trips begin just as peacefully, only to pivot in a single, unforeseen second? Unlike an ordinary afternoon on the water, his channel usually documents small base outings and lure demonstrations, who actually owned the land. The same inquiries replayed: access, boundaries, permission. Alex explained he had parked near his grandparents' home, but the man circled back to the same topics repeatedly. Nothing was openly hostile yet. It was the repetition that felt strange, as if the exchange was stuck on the same loop. On September 28, 2025, what started as a calm afternoon on Jackson Lake, Georgia, shifted dramatically for Ryan from F-Series Outdoors, a channel centered on fishing, boating, and the slow rhythms of life on the water. He was heading toward one final spot, hoping to rescue an unproductive day, when something up ahead broke the stillness, something that pulled him out of routine and into a situation he never imagined encountering.
Y'all good? Oh, the one that's turned over? Have y'all called? Y'all called 911 yet? You need me to call? Alright. Are the other people okay?
At this point, I'm just wondering if there's anybody else in the water possibly injured and what's going on. So I start looking at the other boat and heading towards it because these two guys are taking care of that man. When another boat passes by on plane, which got me thinking I need to slow any other boats down and start looking for possible bodies in the water.
That guy's alright. That guy is moving.
That guy that was unconscious was bleeding pretty bad out of his head. He had definitely taken a pretty serious head injury and had some pretty serious swelling going on. I start noticing stuff all in the water, like fish finders, life jackets, and again, I am looking for people and desperately trying to slow down other boats that are coming through that have no idea that there might be people in the water.
You know if they're missing anybody? Yeah, they flipped it. They're on the way. They're right here behind me. The what? The other boat? Yeah. He's right there. He's tied up to the other. Yeah. Is he breathing? Yeah, he's moving a little bit, but not good. He moved a little bit, but it ain't, he don't look good.
He was idling across the lake when he spotted a distant wave. Subtle at first, then clearly signaling trouble. As he closed the distance, the scene sharpened into something far more serious. A base boat sat motionless with a man sprawled unconscious across the deck, while another vessel lay upside down near the shoreline. The peaceful lake he had drifted across moments earlier suddenly felt unnervingly heavy, as though the water itself was holding back the truth. And the more he approached, the more troubling the details became.
I really didn't want to be in the way, but I started noticing everything in the water, and I'm like, I can definitely collect all this stuff for these people, and it might be something worth value to them, and it turned out some of it definitely was. The boat that hit them was what looked like a 16-foot bass boat with like a 65 horsepower motor. It hit like a 20 to 22-foot ski boat. The bass boat was really not damaged, but the ski boat had a giant gash in the front of it. They'll tell that story later on in the video, but the boat took on water and capsized very quickly. Luckily, it drifted towards the dock the whole time. They were able to bail out and basically climb straight onto the dock.
At the crash site, he saw just how injured the man was. Blood gathering around a swollen head wound, his breathing shallow but steady. Debris floated across the surface. Gear, safety equipment, and personal items carried slowly away by the slight current. Ryan began retrieving whatever he could, life vests, electronics, pieces of equipment, before they drifted out of reach. The damage told its own story. One boat lightly marked, the other ripped open at the bow and flipped within minutes of the collision. For a brief moment, the lake fell quiet again, as if waiting for someone to act.
That guy is starting to move, so that's good. He's breathing at least.
This is the moment that the first paramedics got there. I believe it was like volunteer firefighters, but they were just now arriving on scene. It's hard to hear what he was saying, but the guy was saying that the bass boat was coming straight at him. He tried to turn 3 times, and the bass boat matched his turns every time until they hit head on. There was nothing he could do. Both boats at full speed.
I didn't see her purse. I looked. Maybe it's still in the boat.
What?
She said her purse was like a green. She said it might float.
Yeah, I got a blue dry bag that I did not put my It's up in that little hatch on the console.
It sunk slowly?
Huh?
It didn't sink real fast or what?
No.
I mean, it might still be in there?
It came down pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
It was capsizing within 2 to 3 minutes.
This was the last few things that I picked up in the water. I think it was like a cigarette pack and a few other things.
And when help finally arrived, the circumstances behind the crash began to surface. Volunteer responders reached the injured man and brought him toward land. Once alert enough to explain, he described what had happened. The approaching boat kept steering toward him, mirroring each attempt he made to veer away. 3 evasive turns, all matched, until avoidance became impossible. His boat rolled shortly after impact, leaving almost no time for anyone nearby to react. After the scene was stabilized, Ryan returned to his own vessel, using the moment to remind viewers why caution and life jackets matter on every outing. Viewers debated how such a collision could happen in open water, suggesting everything from distraction to a sudden medical issue. Others pointed to common boating mistakes, navigation rules ignored or misunderstood. But the impact pattern, along with the repeated mirrored turns, raised more questions than answers about what truly happened in those final seconds. If the injured boater really tried to turn away 3 separate times, why did the other vessel match him so precisely? Was it confusion, a mechanical failure, or something the lake hasn't given up yet? Posted on November 7th, 2025, this early winter outing unfolded on a forest lake in Karelia, where Theophan from Druid Theophan, a channel focused on wilderness expeditions, hunting, and cold season fishing, launched into his first ice fishing trip of the year. What should have been a simple check of the new ice shifted quickly into unease, as the lake answered every movement with warnings of its own. Before dropping a single lure, Theophan stepped onto the frozen surface with an ice chisel, striking the layer beneath his feet to test its strength. It held barely, but the sharp cracks that followed reminded him the ice was still early season, thin and unpredictable. He continued anyway, cautious but determined. Yet the stillness beneath the ice hadn't revealed its full temperament. At the first hole,
Let's cast it. Now start timing. Depth is about 1.5 meters. The ice is excellent. Really, no problem at all. There should be bites right away. But this is awesome, guys. Look, 1, 2, 3. We wait. Usually there would already be a bite. I've never had it on this lake where there wasn't a bite in at least one of the holes. In every hole I've drilled here, there was a bite, and it happened right away. Maybe I shouldn't have picked the triple hook spoon lure? Can you believe it? The weather's nice, there's a bite, but no fish. Look at that, friends. The first perch of the season from the ice. Here it is, beauty. Here it's bait. Is it bait? Are you bait? Are you bait? Yes, it's bait, friends. It's bait, that's it. And as soon as I started talking, everything immediately gets awesome. Let's try to eat now. This has never happened. I used to come here anytime. That's how I broke through. The ice chisel is amazing. Just look at how I'm walking. Really confident. But I've driven across lakes that are a bit bigger than this one, and they're already, done for. Whoa, there's nothing at all yet. I mean, okay, let's see. Here's a closed hole. Depth. Oh, what do I have here? All right, let's try it.
he lowered a spoon lure into the calm water below. The lake, usually generous, stayed silent longer than usual before offering anything. Eventually, the line tightened. A single perch, the first catch of winter. A small success, enough to ease the tension. Still, the mood of the lake shifted again in ways he didn't anticipate. After adjusting his approach and spreading out his rods, he turned away for just a moment when the bottom setup snapped violently.
They're about to take away the bottom fishing rod, friends. Got it! I made it in time. Even slid a bit. Like this. Well, let's see. Maybe another one? I left that bottom rod over there. Ran over here. Look, I have the tracks, a skid mark. Alright, let's try this lucky hole. Lucky little hole. Made this fishing trip, huh? Let's leave it like that. Here we go. Fishing on two fronts. Oh man, dropped everything and ran. Here it is, guys. Here it is, my favorite forest. Well, I'm a hunter. Oh, whoa, did you see that? Unbelievable. Okay. Miracles are happening, friends. Did you see the rods move?
The hit was powerful enough to nearly pull the rod straight into the hole, and as he rushed across the slick ice, he slid before grabbing it in time. The fish turned out to be another perch, but the force behind the strike stayed with him. And the lake had one more surprise waiting at another hole.
Oh, wow. Handsome. Damn, the wind. So friends, don't worry or cry. The fish, Right, but the biting is really bad for this place. For this place, it's really bad. Look, it's biting right in front of us. Not stupid. Wow, what a strike that was. It just hit right by the eye, guys. Look, it's biting by the eye. That's a perch. Alright. Fishing on the first ice. Whoa, listen friends, here it is. Okvin. Okvin, what a name. Okeniochek, Okinesha. Wow, right on the rise. Nice one, really nice, damn. These are the ones who neither believe nor support me. Oh, damn. I just can't tear myself away. I should probably be getting ready to go home already. But here, I even brought a small thermos with me. Well, a little thermos and some sandwiches, but I can't eat them because time is precious. I'd rather, instead of eating, I'll do some fishing. That's a very interesting feature this year.
Shifting to a more productive area, he located what he called his lucky hole. Here the bites came nonstop. Larger perch, steady action, and eventually a tally of 20 from that one opening alone. By the end of the trip, he counted 25 perch total, grateful the ice held and the fishing paid off, even though the day had opened with tension. Viewers pointed out how early ice can shift from dependable to dangerous in minutes, and how the cracks he heard likely signaled layers settling beneath him. Some speculated the violent hit on the bottom rod hinted at something heavier moving under the perch he pulled up. If the lake reacted that sharply on its first thin freeze, what else might be moving under the surface when nobody's around? Out there, you only see what rises to the line, never what chooses to stay unseen. On November 9th, 2025, along a chilled stretch of the Pacific Northwest shoreline, Kay and Remo from the YouTube channel Kay and Remo headed out to film another fishing and catch and cook trip. Their content typically follows light-hearted outdoor adventures, but that morning, the ocean felt off. The surf was louder, the air carried more weight, and the calm they depended on seemed just slightly out of sync.
Fished that jig head for quite some time, no bites at all. It's probably just because the jig head is the same color as the water. We'll go ahead and give this a try. This definitely looks like it's gonna stand out, and it stinks. This looks kind of promising. I always have a hard time trying to gauge where the hook should come out. I think that's about right. It's not perfect, but I think it's gonna be good enough. All set up, let's give it a try. Got snagged on the rock. It's a little shad. Got snagged again, so switched on to this one little swim bait. We are back at camp. Unfortunately, we didn't catch anything. Water was just so murky and it was just too chaotic.
The warning came before anything else. A notice calling for extremely chaotic surf and 10-foot breakers set the tone as Remo prepared every lure in his kit. Jigs, soft plastics, anything that might tempt a salmon or rockfish. Nothing produced results. Cast after cast vanished into turbulent water and returned empty or snagged in the rocky bottom. The only catch of the day was a single small shad, one that didn't feel earned. Still, something about the morning suggested the shift wasn't over. With no options left, they headed back to their campsite, letting the day settle around a homemade grill, a simple meal, and the small comforts of their car camp setup. The quiet should have eased the frustration from the shoreline, but instead it amplified the sense of an unfinished day. And by sunrise, the mood would tilt again.
It is the next day out here. We're gonna go ahead and give this castable crab trap a try. Cast it, falls to the seafloor, and it basically opens up like this. We're gonna go ahead and use this bait holder here, and at the same time use a zip tie to ensure that the drumstick is secured. There's a setup right there. The drumstick's pretty much secured. I'll just go ahead and cut this off right here so it doesn't get tangled up, but this is pretty much what we're gonna do, or what we're gonna use for crabbing. Just like that, we are crabbing. So we're just gonna go ahead and wait for about maybe 5 minutes or so. Actually, that might be a keeper. This guy was about to come off. Let's go ahead and measure him pretty quick. This one's about 6 1/4 inch, and you want to measure him from basically the inside of the longest point. So not this point right here. Not sure if you guys can see that, but the inside part. So I kind of want to go set up for salmon setup and rockfish setup, but the water's pretty chaotic right now. So I'm just gonna go ahead and wait for this. I'm just gonna focus on crabbing until we sort of kind of limit out. That's pretty much crabbing is from the shore. You don't have to be offshore to be able to catch crab. Last cast, I waited for about 5 minutes. This time, I think I'm gonna wait for about 10. Let's see if we can fill it up with crabs. It's been about 10 minutes. Let's give this a try.
Oh my God! Hold on. Hold on, there's a lot.
I think,
Got away. A lot of them got away. A lot of them got away. Give me that. A lot of them got away.
Look at that. That's a lot. So this one's definitely a keeper, but we'll just go ahead and give it a quick measure. I want to show you guys. See, like it doesn't even fit. That's definitely a keeper male. And look at these big claws. These are huge.
You know what? A lot of them got away too.
Yeah.
Because of the wave.
Oh yeah, this one's a female. Put them back. I was like, this is so heavy.
All keeper? Oh, no. All male? Oh, there's one female. Big female.
Wow, this guy is big.
Oh, 2 female and 2 male.
This is the easiest crab to catch. Doesn't have the 2 big claws, so there's no pinchers. It is now low tide. I just found a crab down here.
Still alive?
I don't know, probably. Oh yeah. Yeah, finders keepers, right? Look at this. Pretty good size. Another bucket full of crabs. Hey buddy. Hey, it's all the crab.
One female, one male.
Hoping to go catch some fish, but none of our methods worked out at all. Tried rock fishing, salmon fishing, no bites, but we got a couple buckets full of crabs.
Today we're going to try to make crab fried rice. We're gonna use carrots, corn, sweet peas, green onions, garlic, our rice, and of course our crab. After boiling for 3 to 5 minutes, time to debone them. All the meat.
Really good.
Now it's ready.
Fresh crab meat right there.
Carrots, a little butter. I don't have wine, so I use soju, just a little bit. Time to put our rice. Corn, sweet peas, crab. Salt and pepper to taste. Just gonna add soy sauce, a little drop of sesame oil. Last but not the least, green onions.
Check this out. Perfect plate of crab fried rice. All the big chunks of crabs in there. So I ended up getting a big chunk.
The next morning brought them back to the beach with a castable crab trap and one leftover drumstick for bait. The first pull brought up a legal male Dungeness, and the second haul came up packed with crabs, some slipping away before they could grab them. They kept the larger males, released the females, and quickly filled their buckets. Even a lone crab washed onto the sand felt oddly intentional. Back home, they cooked the 2 biggest and turned the rest into crab fried rice, ending a trip that opened in frustration but closed with more success than expected. Some viewers questioned why the ocean refused every attempt at fishing one day, only to deliver overflowing traps the next. A few suggested that stretch of coastline behaves unpredictably, almost as though whatever lies below determines when the water gives and when it withholds. If one morning the shore goes silent and the next it offers more than expected, what exactly decides that balance? And if the waves were choosing for them, what did they avoid on that first day? On April 20th, 2022, along a still freshwater canal in South Florida, Dev from the channel Danglin' with Dev went out to film another relaxed fishing outing, the kind of simple, easygoing content his channel is known for. But as the morning progressed, the quiet banks around him began to feel strangely alert, as though the water and the neighborhood behind it were waiting for something he had yet to notice.
Got him. Oh, holy cow. Let's go. Let's go. All right, guys, I just snapped a couple pictures for the gram. If you're not following me at Dangle Dev, follow me at Dangle Dev. This definitely isn't my PB. All right, I'm gonna call him 2.7. Bro, am I that good? Hey, stop. 2.66. Yeah, 2.66. Went up to 2.7 when he flopped. Thanks for biting, bud. Peace. Straight back. Just chilling. Let's go. Big ones. Oh, you got him? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Bring him this way. Bring him this way. That's not a... What the heck? I have no clue what that is. Should we even touch him? Yeah. Got lips like you. Hold his deals. I got you. Yeah. You gotta let him go. Hold tight. Fine, I'll let him go. Guys, comment down below if you know what that is. I have no clue what that was. Got him. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right, guys, that was a really, really cool bite. This fish is beautiful. I was literally standing 2 feet from him, and he was just not happy that my little rattle trap, well, my girlfriend's rattle trap was in his face. Peace. I bet you could catch him again. I bet you could. Get your lure. You on? What do you got? Fight it, fight it, fight it, fight it. Fight it hard, fight it hard. Is it fighting hard? Yo, you have a, oh, you have a good peacock. You have a good peacock. Get him, baby, get him. Get him, get him. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. She goes, I don't know. Yeah, before we do anything, we're gonna wait on him. This will be your official PB on scale. Just let go of it. Hook him through the gill. Oh, frick it, I'll do it. Hey, bro, chill, dog. That was what?
That was the funnest fish I've ever caught.
Yeah, because it hit it out deep and you fought it in. All right, there we go. Got them all hooked up. What do you think?
I don't know.
It just hit 275. It's at it locked in at 273. So on scale, your PB is a 273 peacock. Dude, the other one was double this size. Legitimately. That other one was, imagine like a 9-pounder.
Can we kiss the peacock?
Mm-hmm.
Can't get that on this. I'll hold you.
Dev started the day, as he always did, scanning the shallows and spotting a sizable peacock bass cruising along the edge. He worked the lure, hooked it cleanly, and brought in the 2.66-pound fish. Minutes later, Shelby added one of her own, and Dev followed with a largemouth heavier than any he had caught in South Florida before. Everything felt effortless, almost unusually smooth, like the calm stretch of canal was offering one last pleasant moment before shifting. Something in the atmosphere hinted that the mood was about to change.
Okay. 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 Okay, I can't walk over there in half a second. Wait. All right, put it back.
You want to film me and release it?
Yeah, I got it all on film. Put them back.
You're just gonna go ready?
Yeah. Good job, babe. Ready to get into an altercation?
Yep.
Just get your reel. Come on, he's calling the cops. You can take a picture, dude. I don't care. What? Hey, dude, why are you so upset? No habla español? I can't hear you from all the way over here. I know I can't. No habla español. Hey, bro, I said I'm leaving. Chill. I'm with my girlfriend. Calm down. Okay, I just moved from Jacksonville. Damn. I get it, bro. Apologies for walking in your yard. Okay, leave, bro. I'm leaving. Damn. Okay, go. You're all worked up for no reason. Yeah, she got like her biggest one ever. What? A big one? I can't hear you. Yeah, no habla español. Hey, you don't gotta be an ass, bro. Hey, you don't have to be an ass. I'm gonna hold the camera right in his face. No, it's okay. I don't think he understands how much he just made this video. Oh, you run away? Dang, that's crazy. Oh, you don't want to talk now? That's crazy. Nah, bro, like don't run your mouth and ride away. I'm glad you care so much that you could just take time out of your day to ruin it. Okay, we weren't hurting nobody. You don't have to be an asshole about it. You could just say, hey, y'all can't fish here, leave. I would have said, okay, but you were an asshole about it, so no, get in. Okay, but you don't gotta be an asshole about it now that I'm up here.
Come to my backyard and do what you want.
I didn't come to your backyard.
Yes, you did. You were in my backyard.
Okay, you don't have to be an asshole about it. You could have came out to me and said, hey, can you please move out? Can you please leave? I would have said, yes, sir, I can. You were an asshole about it.
And you need to read the sign and don't trespass.
No, I can't. No hable. No hable. That's perfectly fine. I have you on camera too, so thanks, bud. Have a good day. God bless you.
As Shelby celebrated her personal best peacock base, a man's voice cut through the morning, shouting from farther down the canal, agitated without clear reason. Dev responded calmly, explaining he didn't understand Spanish and that they were already planning to leave. But the stranger kept moving toward them, irritation building until Shelby raised the camera. The instant he noticed the recording, he stopped, backed up, and rode away without another word. Dev packed their gear, unsettled but composed, saying he would have left willingly if the man had simply asked. The rest of the outing ended quietly, with Dev reminding viewers to stay composed but never accept disrespect. Some viewers questioned what really triggered the confrontation, noting how fast the tension rose and how abruptly it dissolved once the camera was visible. Others wondered whether Dev had unknowingly stepped near a boundary, or if the man reacted to something that never appeared on screen. The sudden shift in the stranger's behavior raises its own questions. Was he angry, or startled by the idea of being filmed? And if you were standing beside that calm canal, would the moment have felt as simple as it looked? That's it for tonight. Which moment creeped you out the most? Drop it in the comments. Have your own story? Share it with us, and stay tuned. The next one is even darker.